happening, everybody? Kyle Steele, SEO Expert, coming at you for whoop whoop deep tracks. What is deep tracks? It's where we take the 1 Minute Wednesday idea and we go deep, scuba diving deep, and give you actionable advice on your business and your life. You ready? Let's roll. On 1 Minute Wednesday, we talked a little bit about taking something from way outside the ecosystem, tossing it right in the middle, and just completely disrupting the whole entire industry. That's how you change an industry. And whenever I think about an ecosystem, dropping something in the middle of it, you know what I think about? One of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons. It's where Bart goes to Australia. Well, and I was pretty disappointed because in that episode there was two things. One, he calls up a kid from Australia and asks him which way the toilet flushes, because he thought it would go counterclockwise as opposed to clockwise here in the States. Well, my son went there last year, a year ago in fact, and first thing I asked him on FaceTime was to flush the toilet. It's a myth. That doesn't happen. But the other thing he did was bring a frog, drop it in Australia, and by the time he left, all over the place. That's how you disrupt an ecosystem. You can't become king of the jungle by being another lion. You got to come in and completely disrupt everything. And I think about that in the business world, right? You want a good cross-pollination of ideas. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. HR managers calling everybody out, because I see this all the time when you're posting for a job. Prior industry experience required. That's the biggest mistake you could ever make. Because you know who's usually looking? Somebody who's mediocre within that industry getting mediocre results. Your all-stars aren't out there proactively looking for other gigs, majority of the time. The people that you need to recruit are people from outside the industry who can come in and really disrupt it. I think about that all the time. There's so many ideas that we've gotten. Think about gunpowder. Hell, think about beer. Those are ideas that came from other cultures, and because you had the Silk Road back in the day, you had this great cross-pollination of ideas going among the Silk Road, so people took ideas from other cultures and other places and brought those together and improved upon those. But if you just sit there and look within your industry all the time, you're going to get the same mediocre results. Think about Uber, think about Amazon. Those are people who are thinking about things completely different. Think about Apple. That's how you disrupt an industry, is by taking somebody outside, drop them in the middle, and then the other part is you've got to listen. So there's so many examples of people from outside who actually invented something. Well, okay, I'll give you an example. Ernie Duquesne, however the hell you pronounce it. Everybody thinks that Sir Alexander Fleming invented penicillin. No, it's actually invented thousands of years ago by North African tribesmen. But old Ernie, Dr. Ernie, wrote his thesis because he noticed that some stable boys were taking some of the mold from underneath the saddles and using that to cure saddle sore. So he writes a whole entire paper on the curing properties of it. That's in 1897. But because he was from outside the medical industry, he wasn't established, he wasn't one of them, he didn't have prior industry experience. I don't know why I'm doing Matt Foley quotation marks, but I am, because I'm really pissed off about this. He was outside the industry, so nobody listened to him. Old Ernie died in 1912 of tuberculosis, something that his very penicillin could have cured. Think about how we could have changed history if the medical industry just listened to him, right? But they already had it figured out. Their minds are already made up. Don't confuse them with the facts. Their minds are already made up. So he invents penicillin. Nobody listens to him. Think about that. The Spanish flu, the influenza outbreak in the early 1900s, never would have happened. Wiped out a huge portion of the world's population. Think about how that would have changed World War I. Hell, and then, of course, Alexander Fleming gets credit for it because he was from the industry. He was one of them. Could have had it 30 years later, or 30 years earlier, excuse me. So think about that next time you're posting for a job for prior industry experience. I think that's the biggest mistake that you could ever make, because it's taking those ideas from way outside the industry and dropping in the middle, and that's how you can change your business. That's also why at SEO Expert we're never going to niche down. Yeah, I'm going to go on a little bit of a soapbox here, so let me get ready for it, right? We're not going to niche down because there's things that I can take from an RV center or a realty company or a moving company, and I can take that and I can plant in the middle of a different industry. Maybe they're doing something that's completely crazy, but we can adopt it and we can put it in somebody else's business and it's going to take off, and it has. We've done that before because it's taken crazy ideas like Uber. And if you talk to people, just sit around a bar for 10 minutes, you'll meet 5 people who had the idea for Uber, right? Well, ideas are crap, action's everything. Talked about that on another 1 Minute Wednesday. But that's also why it's a good idea to hire an outside marketing firm to come into your industry, because we don't think like you. And that's a good thing. You don't think like us. I learn from our customers every day. I think, wow, that's really awesome. I didn't think about it that way. I'm going to go ahead and take that up and implement it at SEO Expert. And we do that, and it works. Sometimes it doesn't. A lot of times it does. So taking ideas from outside the industry and putting them in, that's a good thing, because we don't think like you, and you don't think like us. Thank God for that. Disrupt your own ecosystem. Get somebody from the outside, come in, and they're going to look at it totally different. And don't get defensive, because a lot of times we'll ask why. Why? Like a 2-year-old. Just keep asking why. Right? Simon Sinek, everybody quotes him all the time. Start with why. Act like a 2-year-old. Ask those questions. Don't get defensive. That's why it's a partnership. So go ahead, drop a frog in Australia. Go ahead and drop a carp in North America. You know, the Spanish brought over all these damn pigs that are running all over the damn place here in the United States. That's how you disrupt an ecosystem. Because everybody else is going to stand around saying, I don't know how to react. And that's exactly what you want people thinking about your business. I don't know how to react to that. Be a leader, not a follower. Whew, that felt good. That was a good rant this week. Thanks for joining me on Deep Tracks. Go ahead and leave comments. Tell me how you're going to disrupt your industry, how you're going to get out there and just drop some feral pigs in the middle of Florida, let them run wild. Can't wait to hear it. Till next week on Whoop Whoop Deep Tracks, I'm Kyle, SEO Expert. Peace.